Hello and happy gaming, everyone. This is Dark Sage Walker, and I don't necessarily have a ton of time to do another Hollow Knight video because my job wants me in the morning, but I figure I can quick show off the route that I use for very early game farming. It's really not all that difficult, you just have to be prepared for a couple of tough enemies. So, here is how the route goes. So, from the stag station, you come basically straight up to this point, come over here, and you will see two moss knights. Now, you want to try to take them on one at a time, because at this point in the game, these guys are kind of tough. And the way you want to fight them is with a combination of sword pogoing and the Vengeful Spirit spell. He's doing his best to lure me over there. You just want to wait for them to make the first move. Lure him over here where you have more room to pogo bounce. And it should come as no surprise, but having Soul Catcher on to help replenish more soul is definitely a good idea. Now, there is another Moss Knight over here watching over this grub, but he typically doesn't come back, so I just omit him from the route. Then once you're done, just come up here. You got a little ways of a couple of Venge Flies. They're not worth much, you can ignore them if you want. The one upside to them being here is that if you haven't finished filling out their journal entry, it's a good place to farm them. Come down here. Then over here will be a third Moss Knight that you can use, that you can fight. Ow. So, it only takes a little bit, and every loop is worth about 120 Geo. Also, when you get to this part, don't jump down, go straight. I made that mistake earlier and confused the crap out of myself. Now, this log is originally hanging up here, so you have to cut it down in order to get back up here, but once that's done, you've got yourself a fairly reliable route to earn money with. Now, this is only good very early game. Once you get into the later game areas, there are better ways to make money. So come back down here, use the bench to recover your health, and because the Moss Knights are an enemy that stays gone until you use the bench. Again, very Dark Souls. Big surprise considering the game's, design. So I'll show that route to you one more time. Just ignore the Moss Charger. There you go, Moss Knight number 1. Come at me, bro. Ah. He's got more range than it seems like he does, so be careful. There we go, one down. Move on to the next one. Right in the ass. Come on, you cicada fuck. Yeah, that's 2 down. Now, you actually didn't go up there, so at least not yet. Like I said, this is very early game farming route. Made a wrong turn, but that's okay. So likely, the only upgrade you're actually going to have at this point is the Mothwing Cloak and Vengeful Spirit, and you'll only have Mothwing Cloak if you actually fought Hornet before starting this. But this is a good way to build up some cash for the early game charms. It's a good way to get yourself that the early game mask shards, and the big goal, of course, is that it's a really good way to get yourself... Owie. It's a really good way to get yourself the Lumafly Lantern, which is probably the big thing you're going for, because even though it is a... I mean, you can kind of get through the game without it, but not effectively. So, in order to afford that, you need 1,800 Geo, which is asking quite a bit in this very early point in the game. So, as you can see, after saving up some money throughout the green path and a couple of runs through my loop, and we're almost at 1,800 already. So, hopefully you find that enlightening. If you're like me and you haven't started playing the game until recently, hopefully this helps. And yeah, I think that's gonna about do it. So I will see you guys in the next full episode of Hollow Knight. Until then, my name is Darksade Walker, and I will be seeing you.